I come from a family of thrill seekers. My mom is a bit of a daredevil. She has flaming red hair, which tells you almost everything you need to know about her, but I'll tell you a bit more anyway. She willingly married my dad, so he has a little bit of caucasity to him too, given he's white. My sister Keshi is the spitting image of them, which leaves me. In the summer of 2020, we went to Whistler for a family getaway and spontaneously decided we wanted to go bungee jumping. At first, I was excited, not realizing what I was actually getting into. During the car ride up to Whistler Bungee, I refrained from talking with Keshi about what we were doing today. I could not bear the thought. Once we arrived, I took in the breathtaking view. I might have actually been hyperventilating as I stood on the bridge 160 feet above the river below and surrounded by mountains. The wind was blowing in my hair, rocking the bridge back and forth. I thought this was definitely a sign, but I trailed sheepishly behind my family anyway. When we made it to the check-in area, I mumbled a little prayer, begging God not to let me die today. We checked in, got the rundown of everything, paid the fee, and approached the bridge again. My mom went first, everyone yelling in excitement for her as she dove headfirst off the bridge. Keshi was next. She does not have a scared bone in her body. She flipped off the bridge like it was nothing. We all hyped up my dad as he cannonballed off the bridge, and suddenly there was only one person left. When I realized I was up next, my anxiety grew louder than any cheering. Even though I admired my family for their bravery so much and would have given anything to believe that it was actually as easy as they made it seem, I honestly did not want to do it anymore. But I couldn't admit that to anyone, not when I would be the odd one out, not when people were waiting for me, and not when we'd already paid. I didn't even know if we could get refunded if I didn't jump. I was in denial on the drive up, but I had treated this event like a rite of passage, which only added to the weight I placed on my shoulders. I felt like this leap of faith was a way to earn their respect, to be one of them, to prove I belong in this family. Even though all of this was in consideration, I still could not force myself to jump. I was stalling, but the instructor, clearly over it, opened the gate for me and beckoned me forward. Choosing not to face the depths of my doom, I spun around, and once he reached the count of 3, I dove backwards, arms flailing everywhere and mouth screaming. I blacked out the whole way down, but as I swayed above the water, I realized this wasn't all that bad. And I meant it, because a few years later, we went back, and I jumped again without a second thought. And a few months after that, we all went skydiving for my mom's birthday. I felt so much braver and more fearless, just like they were. I felt like I was on top of the world, and even had the Whistler Bungee shirt to commemorate this day, but I couldn't find it. I felt like this was a really significant moment for me, but what was even more significant than the jump was what happened after. Back on the bridge, heart still pounding, I was met with words of encouragement from my family, not annoyance. A group hug instead of frustration. It was clear that they could never have thought any less of me, even if I didn't jump. I had made up this false narrative in my head that I had to be some adrenaline junkie to fit into my family. But no, I understood how unconditional their love for me was, and that gave me the most evident sense of acceptance, not whether or not I did what they did, if I made the jump or not. My newfound bravado wasn't due to completing the jump. It was due to familial love that I experienced on this day. They had accepted me in the way they waited patiently for me, cheered me on, and embraced me. I now know that they're even more admirable, not for how many courageous adventures they've been on since that day, but for the way they've never failed to love me unconditionally, no matter what. Because of a last-minute visit to Whistler Bungee, I learned something. It was never about following my family's footsteps, even though they were thrill-seeking and fun and spunky. It was never about that. It was about experiencing the one thing that was more valuable than any jump, their love. It was the safest and strongest harness that kept me from falling into my own lies. Thank you.